I did some digging on this story. Luke Fox putting it out, but I guess he talked to Foxy and a couple other media members on Wednesday after practice, not part of the scrums, by the way, and said something. I want to be here, so I'm fine. Yeah, I don't think about that stuff. They asked him about the trade deadline. He's been cooking. And I asked Foxy specifically, I'm like, did you interpret this as him rescinding his trade request? And he said yes. So I guess Nick Robertson no longer wants out, Rosie.
What month was that trade request put in? August?
Yeah, around there, yeah.
Like, I haven't thought about him requesting a trade in months and months and months.
I have.
In my mind, that's in the past. Like, dude, he wasn't being used in the minors, but he's like, I'm in my prime here. I didn't doubt him, or I didn't you know, think less of him for doing that at all. I know fans love to do that, but the guy's got to look out for his career. They're not using him. They don't value him. You feel like you're buried. You look at other players around the league who you think you're better than, and they're getting better than you and getting more experience. You're going, I'm buried here. So you just go up and you say, hey guys, like, I love it here, and I would love nothing more than to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. But if you're not going to use me, like, I have to request it. I have to go somewhere where, like, my career is short and I can't keep wasting years, which he may feel like he's been doing. And there's all the reasons on whose fault is that. That's fine. But if in his mind he needed to get out of here, I don't blame him for it. He has since been used, and especially lately, it's interesting to have the conversation because recency bias. He's been playing really well and scoring a bunch of goals, and him and his brother both got 2 at the same, and he's looking good. So in my mind, for months, that has been gone. He's on the Leafs. He's happy to be here. I don't think that's been on his mind. For the Leafs, though, has his stock gone up a little bit? Has he opened some people's eyes around the league? Could he be used? I think he could absolutely be thrown in as a piece to get a deal to the finish line. So whether he says he rescinds it or not is irrelevant to me. In my mind, that's old news, and it doesn't really matter.
Most importantly, he's been a pro about this whole situation because you're right. It's not one of those like contentious type things like a JT Miller where it's like, get me the fuck out of here. It's like, I want playing time and it's not working. And Sheldon Keefe was there before. And to his credit, he signs the contract for $875K. He comes in. It's been an up and down season for Nick Robertson, but he's been red hot as of late. But it was one of more of those things than the latter, where it's like, I'm really, really pissed off. Don't want to be here. I get that. But yeah, I read it the same way, where it's like out of sight, out of mind. It's been a long time ago. He's feeling good about the game. So what else is he going to say right now? Right.
Yeah. Like, to you, his play as of late, does that make you think, oh, maybe we could use him? Maybe he is going to blossom and be valuable and be useful in the team? Or does his play of late mean to you maybe someone will bite on him and we could use him as a piece to move?
It's probably that. I think he's a pretty decent trade chip. I wonder what his value is around the league. I wonder if he can be sort of a quote unquote throw in a potential bigger deal. I wonder about the perception all the time with Leafs players. I know we glorify these guys and we say they're so great, but how are they perceived out of market? And I guess we'll find out in the next week. Like, I think this is great for Robertson. It's great for the Maple Leafs too. It's around the trade deadline time and your player's red hot. So is Pontus Holmberg. But in the big grand scheme of things, I'm not sure, again, he is a fit in the top 6. And that's where I think he needs to be with this team. I want to reserve my bottom 6 for like a checking type role. And I don't think Nick Robertson fits that. He's okay defensively. He's not great defensively. When he's not scoring, he's not much use to this team, quite frankly.
I know. I don't want pure checking on the third line, because if the big boys aren't scoring, and you know what it looks like in the playoffs when it's just chances and no one's penetrating the middle and it's perimeter shit and you don't have a whole lot of substantiated ozone time and you're just not doing much, that's where your depth comes in, where you need guys to like chip in and break that, ice loose and get that goal and score and alleviate the pressure from the big boys. So I don't want to go full heavy on the bottom 6. In an ideal world, the guys in the bottom 6, they're quick. They can get on the forecheck. They can bang and crash. They can hit. They can get pucks in on the goalie and get ozone face-offs and cycle a little bit and crash and step up when needed to, and not to be deterred by any kind of physicality. But they also have the skill to be able to finish pucks and jump on loose ones. And, if they get the opportunity with their ice time, they can put one on the board. So a little bit of both, I think. And I don't know, like, Robertson's just kind of middle of the road with me. I love his work ethic, man. I'll never, hate on him for that. He is buzzing out there. Like, I bet you that guy's legs, I bet you they're huge, and I bet you they're burnt out at the end of every game. He is flying. Just sometimes it doesn't accomplish a whole lot, but there is that potential. Like, he's got enough skill to like wow you once in a while, but he just hasn't been able to do it consistently enough. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that I do not want Nick Robertson in my top 6. I think that I think that you're conceding the fact that you're probably not a Stanley Cup winning team if Nick Robertson's in your top 6. Sorry. I can handle him on the third line if he's producing and if he's buzzing and adopting that bottom 6 mentality. But yeah, there's limits there.
In a perfect world, I would like to keep him cap crunch. It's always going to be a cap crunch this time of year. So we'll see on that front when it comes to Nick Robertson.
How do you upgrade him for $975 or whatever, right? Like, how do you make it better for that money? It's tough. And if they're going to make some other deals, the cap's going to be a factor. So that's a thing to think about for sure.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.